Just as there's heavy weather here in Australia, there's obviously heavy weather as well when it comes to the expectations for the global economy in 2023. We start 2023 with the right mix of optimism about our economy and the future, but realism about the global economic conditions that we will confront throughout the course of the year. We are optimistic about the future of our economy and the future of our country, but we are realistic that there will be a number of economic challenges come at us from around the world in the months ahead. As we've talked about before, will be impacted heavily by the war in Ukraine, by China's transition out of COVID-0, out of the turbulence and uncertainty that we're seeing in some of the world's major economies, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, the trajectory and impact of rising interest rates here in Australia and around the world, as well as the economic consequences of these natural disasters that we have been talking about. So I think the best summary of the situation that we confront as we begin 2023 is this. We've got a lot coming at us, but we've got a lot going for us. We've got a lot coming at us from around the world, but we've got a lot going for us here in Australia in our Australian economy. And one of the things that we do have going for us is that we've got more and more Australians finding a job. In fact, in terms of jobs growth, this is the strongest start for a new government in terms of jobs growth on record. Since these records were first kept in the 60s, this is the strongest first 6 months of jobs growth data of any government here in Australia that we have on record. 234,000 more Australians found a job between May and November last year. That jobs growth of 1.7% is the fastest over that equivalent period of any new government on record. The three top governments for jobs growth in their first 6 months were the Albanese government, the Rudd government and the Hawke government. And it also, this jobs growth, it beats the record of new governments before it, and it also beats the jobs growth that we are seeing from the world's major advanced economies as well, and that's by some margin. But I think the most pleasing aspect of these jobs growth numbers is the context and the conditions that they were created in. As the global economy has been slowing, our jobs growth in Australia has been accelerating. Even as global conditions deteriorated in the back half of last year, even as our challenges grew, more and more jobs were created here in Australia, and we should be proud of that. We know that these headwinds will only grow stronger this year. We expect jobs growth to come off this pace a bit in the months ahead, and we won't be immune from a global slowdown. But having more Australians in work is one of the best defences we've got against these major global economic challenges. That and stronger wages as well. And we are also starting to see the beginnings of strong and sustainable wages growth in our economy, and that's very welcome and very pleasing too. So this is a strong start when you consider all of the challenges that we've got before us, but it's just the start. We do have plenty going for us, but we also have a lot coming at us. We inherited stagnant wages and we're working to get them moving again. We inherited that broken energy market and we're working to repair and renovate it for the modern world. We inherited a skills crisis, which we've begun investing to try and start to turn that around. And we inherited that budget, which is heaving with debt, and the budget in October was the foundations of repairing that over time. I think Australians know a couple of things. They know that 2023 around the world will be difficult, but they also know that as we approach these challenges, we start from a position of relative strength compared to the rest of the world. They also know that they have a government which is prepared to meet and beat these challenges, and jobs growth and wages growth, I think, is a demonstration that our first budget and our economic plan more broadly is working.